Well, this is not a very good start, is it? I've just got a phone call, and I was expecting seeing a presentation to start with. I normally have this.
Unknown caller.
Sorry, guys. Right. Okay. Sorry, I got totally spaced out there a little bit. I was expecting a intro to play. It didn't play for some reason, and then I realized I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb, so I've got a double whammy there. Not only that, but I've got a thing right in the middle of my chin there. That's actually, it looks like chocolate, but it's where I cut myself shaving. So in case you're wondering what that is, then there we go. So that's 3 mistakes so far. And do you know what? It doesn't really matter, does it? What matters is that you're here. I'm here, and I'm going to do my level best, despite the dodgy start, to make sure that today is worth your while. And I seriously do thank you for being here. Today, we're going to look at how to go from startup to £100,000 in 12 months or less. And this was a talk that I did a little while ago on Business Connections Live, which was is the UK's leading business channel. If you ever get a chance to check them out, then I recommend that you do so. Now, today, we're live on LinkedIn. We're also live on Facebook. And in addition, we're live on YouTube. How cool is that you can do that? And we do it using something called Streamyard, which is a fantastic product, really easy to use. And if you're in what I'd loosely call the helping industry, or many other industries as well, but if you're a coach, advisor, consultant, those types of industries, then I reckon setting up your own LinkedIn Live is definitely something you should be doing. I do this literally every day. That's the first time, by the way, that my initial opening presentation hasn't worked, and it's the first time that the phone's rang as well. So there's a first time for everything. But thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. So okay, so how do you get from startup to 100,000 in 12 months or less? I was listening this morning, to a guy called Jim Rohn. Some of you may know of him, particularly if you're in the coaching industry, and particularly if you've heard of somebody else called Tony Robbins. Tony credits Jim as being the guy that really got him started as a coach and enabled him to grow his business. And Tony still teaches today many of the strategies and ideas that were first passed on to him by Jim Rohn, who no doubt that was passed on from somebody else and somebody else, and so on and so forth. It's amazing how this stuff goes around. I spend a lot of my time, and I've spent over 28 years now, learning from the best in the world. I keep constantly up to date. I train myself every single day. From 7 to 7:30 is my training time every day, and I'm listening to audios and YouTube channels and paid programs and so on and so forth by the world's leading experts. And one of those experts, as I mentioned, would be Jim. And Jim said something that I thought was quite profound, that I thought might resonate with you guys today. Jim said, if you want a better business, you've got to become a better business owner. And how simple and how true is that? And if you looked at, what would make you a better business owner? Well, you could become a better coach or a better mechanic or a better consultant and so on and so forth. But we all know coaches who are really good coaches that are making no money whatsoever, or, very little. The average income for a coach in the UK is £30,000 average. That means some of them are earning 15 and 12, because some of them are earning 5-10 million. But the average is £30,000. So it's not necessarily being a better coach that's going to get you there. Certainly becoming better at managing the money and the finance and the cash flow and all that sort of stuff will help. But really, if you're going to go from, zero or pretty near zero, maybe you've been going for a little while, but you're nowhere near where you want to be. You're perhaps just about earning a living, that type of thing, and you want to get to 6 figures, then you got to become better at sales and marketing. It's as simple as that. There's no other way, unless you went and, invested a load of money in buying a business, another business, then, you've got to become better at selling and marketing what you do. I wanted, if I could, just to spend a couple of moments showing you a couple of slides that I literally very quickly put together. If I can find them, that is. Let me just bear with me a second. I want to just make sure that I'm on that. And then hopefully when I share my screen, it's going to slides, and slightly nervous now. I'm not going to be able to show it you for some bizarre reason, which I do occasionally have a little bit of problem with this. Let me just see. No, that's not what I wanted to show you. Okay, I'm gonna not show you the slides. I'm doing really well today, aren't I? It's pretty amazing. But what I am going to do is I'm going to talk about what I was going to show you. So here we go. So this is basically Tony Robbins's secret of success, what he says it takes to become successful. So I thought I'd go through that with you. And then I've got a few more things to talk about before we finish. Firstly, Tony says, in order to be successful, you've got to know what you want. And people say, well, I just want to be more successful. I like the idea of going, right, I want to hit 100 grand in 12 months, the next 12 months. Because once you know that, you can start to work back on what you need to do. Let's say, for example, when you get a new client, they're worth on average for you, let's say, I don't know, £500 a month. And on average, they stay with you for a 9-month period. Yeah. So you know that when you get a new client, you're going to get 4.5 grand. So if your goal, well, let's say 10 months to make it easier for me on the maths. So that's 5 grand. So you can easily work out that you need 20 clients in order to hit the 100 grand mark, don't you? 5 grand times 20, unless my mathematics is worse than they used to be when I was at school, is 20 grand. So we need to be able to hit that number. Now, if I break that down into months, I know it doesn't quite break down, but let's say it was 24 new clients, then I'd need 2 new clients every month, or 1 new client every fortnight. And so I can tell on month 1 whether I'm on target or not. Not, oh, well, let's see how I do at the end of the year. The important thing is to know up front, not in 12 months or 9 months time, whether I'm on target. And if I'm not on target, we need to do something else, which is one of the next steps that Tony talks about. But he says basically, know what you want and then take action. And that's around, you got to put a plan together. I know that's, I haven't got time and I haven't got this, I haven't got that. Statistics prove that businesses with plans are more successful than businesses without plans. So you need to take action, develop a plan, and then implement that plan. The biggest reason that I see for lack of success in marketing is lack of action. I hear people all the time, coaches, consultants, business owners, all sorts of people. They tell me things like, well, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really do very much. Or, I don't like Facebook. Or I don't understand digital marketing. Quite frankly, that's just absolute bullshit. It doesn't matter. I don't like LinkedIn. I don't like Facebook. I don't like any of it. And come the day I retire, I'll close it all down because I don't need it anymore. But right now, LinkedIn's creating 100 grand a year for me. That alone, let alone about all the other stuff that I'm doing. So why wouldn't I use it? I just don't get it. And so many people either don't use it, have never spent any time, money, or effort learning how to use it, and they use it a little bit. I hear people all the time, well, I post once a fortnight. I post once a day on LinkedIn. And what result is that getting you? The answer 9 times out of 10 is nothing, let alone about poor rewards. It's producing pain. It's just a waste of time and a waste of effort. So, that's not good. And I want to help you to raise your game above that. So if that's number 2, then number 3 is to measure your results. There's an old saying that says you cannot manage what you do not measure. So if you're starting to, I'll use LinkedIn as an example, but it'd be the same with anything. You need to know where you are right now. So how many contacts have you got? How much business is LinkedIn creating for you right now? What are you doing on LinkedIn? And, until and unless you know those sort of numbers, you're not really gonna know what to do. If you said, well, I'm connected to 500 people or 1,000 people, right? Well, that's not enough. Or even if you said 10,000, it's still not enough. You want to be out there every day connecting to new people, new blood. You need new people to connect to. And part of your strategy should be to connect to those people every day, just like you need to grow your email list, just like you need to get more people to visit your website, just like you need more people to be targeted on your paid advertising, and so on and so forth. So, we need to know where you are. Then step 2, we need to know what results we want, obviously, which links into number 1, which was all about understanding your results, know what you want. So you may know that you've got 1,000 LinkedIn contacts, and inside the next year, your goal is to get to 5,000. And you may think, well, that's too much. Let's set a big goal. If you set a little goal, guess what action people take? Very little. You set a big, audacious goal, people take action. It's really weird. Aren't we weird? When I was playing table tennis as a full-time professional, my goal was always to be world champion. I never came anywhere near, but it never changed. Why would I want to be number 3 in the world? I just don't get it. Why would I want to be the runner-up? Don't understand. I want to win it, and it's as simple as that. That's my mentality, not necessarily yours, but I encourage you to think about what is your goal for the next 12 months, and then what are you going to do in order to get there. So number 3 then was to measure your results. Number 4 is to change your approach. I think it was Einstein that said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So if you're doing your daily post on LinkedIn and you're not getting any results, why do you keep doing it? Why don't you just stop? At least you'd have a bit more time. But what you should be doing is doing more of it and doing it better and using video and driving traffic to your website, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole range of things that you need to learn and then start to implement. It comes back to that first saying by Jim Rohn: you want a better business, become a better business owner. Want to do better on LinkedIn, learn more about LinkedIn. Want to do better on email marketing, you need to learn that. Want to invest in Google paid AdWords, you need to have a good understanding of that, because there's a fair chance you could do that marketing. And I'm sure you've done this. I know I have. I've done marketing and it's not worked. Why is that? Because I did it wrong. It's not that the marketing is wrong. It's that you've done it wrong. That's, I'd say, universally the problem. Google AdWords works without any shadow of a doubt, but it doesn't always work, because people don't always do it very well. LinkedIn works. LinkedIn creates business. Trust me, I know. I've been winning business on it for years and years, but it doesn't always, because people don't follow the system. People don't do what they should be doing. People don't do any training. I was talking to a group of people a little while ago about sales, and well, I'm not really a salesperson, Steve. And others say, well, I am a salesperson. I said, well, how much training have you done in the last year? Well, none. I mean, forgive me, but if you run a business and you've never done any sales training, or you're thinking of starting a business and you've not done any sales training, then I can't tell you how important it is to do it. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like seriously important, it's about a 15. It really is. And yet most people, no training. And so nowhere near the results that they could be getting. Yeah, they can take orders, just like somebody working in a fish and chip shop. But, when it comes to actually winning business, then, they're not, converting people who should be converted, but won't be because the person's had no training in doing that. So, that's definitely number 4, change your approach. Do something different. If it's not working, don't do what Einstein said and, keep doing the same thing again and again, as that's the definition of insanity. And last one, and I love this one, it's something I took on board many, many years ago, and that is to model success. Model success. What does that mean? It doesn't mean copy people. It doesn't mean go to Tony Robbins's website and nick copy the text off it. I'm not suggesting that. I'm talking about modeling someone like Tony Robbins. What has Tony Robbins done? He's gone from like being destitute on the street, living in his car, to turning over, I think it's 7 billion a year right now. Obviously not enough to live on, but it's not a bad start, is it? I say that very tongue in cheek, obviously. But seriously, are there things that you and I can learn from other people? And I'm not just talking about coaches here. It could be anything. Is there anything you could learn from Apple in terms of design? Those guys are pretty good at it. What about in terms of customer service? What about Amazon? If you've got an online store, if you're selling e-commerce, is there anything you could learn from Amazon, do you think? Have they got a rough idea what they're doing? Yeah, absolutely they have. So go and find somebody who's got what you want, do the same things, you get the same or similar results. A great question for you here. If you're a coach, and I know I've invited loads of coaches, so I'm going to maybe assume that you are, but again, it applies to whoever you see as leading in your industry. If Tony Robbins came in to your business today and he took over running it for the next year, now, he's not allowed to use his name, he's not allowed to use his money, nor his contacts, nor his team, but it's just Tony and you're working alongside him. Would that make your business more successful in 12 months? Now, if you're like me, the answer is absolutely. Tony Robbins sat next to me every day, helping me, doing stuff and so on, is going to make a massive difference to me and my business. The question is, why? What would he do? What would Tony do different to what you're doing? Well, I'll tell you one thing he'd do if he was in my business. He'd get on the phone, he'd pick the phone up and talk to people more than I do. And I do it as much as I can. But, I use that excuse that I'm busy. Look at this. See that? That's my phone. It says on it, pick me up and I'll make you money. That's a reminder to me every day that I need to make more phone calls. And do you know what? One of the first things that I'd say to anybody starting off in business is pick up the phone. Pick up the phone and talk to people. Talk to people you know. Talk to people that you want to know. Talk to your LinkedIn contacts. Go and tell them what you're doing. Ask them for referrals. Ask them if there's anything that you can do to help. Ask them if they'd write you a recommendation if they're people that you know, and so on and so forth. So, there are so many things that you could do right now in your business. I haven't got time to tell you all about all of them. One thing I will tell you, actually, if you go to my website, which is steve-mills.com, you can see it on the screen, actually, and then go to the page called, I think it's called Free Stuff, if my memory serves me right. Let me just make sure. I'm just going to check on that. Is that what it's called? Just bear with me. Yeah, it is. It's called Free Stuff. And then go down to, scroll down to a button called Free Reports, and then go to another button called Powerbase Report, and go and download that report. It really will help you if you're starting out, or not happy with where you are and really want to grow your business. I think that would make a big difference to you and your business. So go and do that. Obviously, as it's been scrolling along underneath here, pretty much most of the session, feel free to book a meeting with me if you'd like to. I'm very happy to do that. I've just got a message here. Okay, good man, James. That's what I like to hear. James is moved off the session and he's picking up the phone right now. Good. That's great to hear, James. Well done there. And I love the fact that you're doing that. Great stuff. So that's about it. I've gone on a little bit longer than I intended to. Sorry about the technical problems at the beginning, but do you know what? I hope it didn't affect things too much, and I hope I've delivered a worthwhile investment in your time in being here. So thank you ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again, hopefully tomorrow. Remember, I do these every single day. Connect to me on LinkedIn, follow me on, or subscribe to me on YouTube, and sign up again, subscribe to my podcast, and I'll try and help you even more. Thanks very much for listening.